Nicole Huntsman here from moderncosmic.com. We have got our sun sign compatibility here on this video. If you know what sun sign means, fast forward to the timestamp you see or the description of the video. So in Western astrology, we take the year, the 12 calendar months, okay, and we divide them up according to the Earth's relationship to the sun. And this makes sense if you think back in the day when we were farmers. The movement of the sun, it's actually our movement, the tilt of our Earth relative to the sun and how it affects the seasons was very important. Springtime, time to plant, summertime to take care of and tend the fields, and of course fall time to harvest, and then winter was time to preserve the things that you had stored and make them last till spring again. Now, in astrology, we look at these 4 important dates that are repeatable, they happen every year, and they are the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, and the winter solstice, okay? We have our zodiac signs all set up according to these solar events. In the springtime, when we have our spring equinox, March 21st, this is that time of year when the equator of the Earth is facing the sun, directly, and the Earth is level, so to speak. So, we are on an axis and the Earth tilts. At this point in the year, we're level. That's why you can spin an egg and it will spin. Now, that's the beginning of the zodiac year, and really should be the beginning of our year. It would make sense to have the time when we go from winter, where we have more darkness than light, to the time when it's equal. We have an equal amount of daylight and equal amount of darkness, and then we move into the time of the year, the spring, when we have more light and less darkness each day, okay, until we hit the summer solstice, where we have the most light, more light, and less of the darkness. So with the zodiac, your sun sign falls during a month between those 4 events. So your sun sign is going to fall into one of these segments, okay? We've got the 12 months divided up into 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, according to those solar events. And then in each of those sections, we have 3 zodiac signs, okay? Your sun sign is important in that it shows your general life force. If you think of the sun is the star in our solar system. It is the mass, the giant mass, relative to us anyway, that is holding our solar system together. Without the sun, without our star, we wouldn't be here, and if something happened to our sun, we would all die, we would perish. We eat food that's made from the energy of the sun. We are literally made of sun, which is pretty cool. Someone's sun sign shows you the basic premise upon which their personality is built. It's like a canvas that we're going to paint upon. It doesn't have any paint on it yet, it's just the canvas. Is it wood? Is it metal? Is it canvas? Is it a panel? Is it round? Is it square? How big is it? How little is it? The zodiac sign will sort of illuminate, and it will explain and make granular sort of this very basic part of what we have to work with, okay, with the personality. So it's the first step in building, when you're looking at an astrology birth chart, it's the first thing you look at because you're going to build upon it, all right? And then all the brushstrokes come with the moon and all the angular houses and the planets and the aspects between the planets. That's when it becomes a beautiful picture. But until then, it's just you're one of the 12 zodiac signs. This is very general. Sun signs are general. It's a general vibe. You've got someone who's kind of more of a feeler, someone who's more of a thinker. But there are all different types of feelers and there are all different types of thinkers, okay? We get that granularity by looking at the entire birth chart and by putting the 2 people together, okay? You can have a feeler and a thinker get together and be really happy if they've got other things in their birth chart that make nice compatibility interaspects. If for some reason your sun signs don't get along well, let's say we've got someone who is, let's say we've got a Capricorn and an Aquarius, very different energies. Capricorn's conservative, Aquarius is an iconoclast and does their own thing. On the surface, sun sign wise, these 2 aren't going to jive perfectly. But if you look underneath, maybe they have moons that are both in water, and it gives them an emotional warmth, or it gives them an emotional depth to the cooler Capricorn Aquarius facade. There's another thing you want to look at between your compatibility charts. There are several, but another important primary planetary aspect that you want to look at, or planetary placement, I should say, that you want to look at. And I'm going to talk about this at the end of the video, so stay tuned, watch the compatibility, and at the very end I'll explain to you how to find If your sun compatibility isn't great, there's another thing you can look at that will indicate whether or not the two of you are going to have long-lasting happiness together, or if it's going to be sort of a no-win battle, okay? All right, let's get on to our sun signs, and please leave me comments if you have questions, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Taurus are the individuals born April 20th through May 20th. Now, this is the time of year, if you were to imagine we're back 2,000 years and we're farming, this is the time of year we would be planting. We'd be planting our seeds, at least here in the northern hemisphere, which is where this type of astrology comes from, Western astrology. Taurus is all about the possession. It's all about the five senses of our physical bodies and operating through this physical these three dimensions that we are here in. So Taurus, ruled by Venus, has to do with the sensual pleasures of the body, but also this idea that we can, as individual protagonists in our own story, possess things. So this is our money, this is our physical possessions, and this is also things more abstract, I suppose. Our self-esteem and our talents, the things that we possess inside of ourselves. Taurus sun signs are slower moving, predictable. They like things to unfold in a way where they know what to expect. And if you think about a farm and you think about planting seeds, you do them if you want to be productive with your farm. You plant them in rows and you do them a certain amount of space between each other, and you water them regularly, and there's a consistency there, okay? There's a routine and an earthy sort of habit that is followed in order to be productive. Have a concrete, practical way of thinking, or way of being rather, because this is a sun sign. With a Taurus, you do have someone who's somewhat stubborn. They have in their mind a plan for how they'd like things to unfold, and they'll get there when they're going to get there, and you can't push them and prod them, okay? Now also, Taurus being ruled by Venus, these individuals appreciate nice things. A lot of times someone who has strong Taurus in their chart, they either like luxury items, they're highly motivated by working hard and making money, or they enjoy the arts, music, whether it's creating it or just listening to it and enjoying it and being a patron of the arts and music. These are very Taurus, and Taurus loves food. Again, and sex. This is the body, being in a body, having a spirit in this human form where we get to experience the pleasures of what comes with this body. On the high side with Taurus, we have steadfast, loyal, determined, artistic, usually. Sometimes they're not artistic. Sometimes it comes out in other ways, like it comes out in the enjoyment of the arts or the enjoyment of food and these things I've talked about before, the five senses. They are understanding and affectionate. They're calm. They like peace and harmony in their relationships. Okay, this is Venusian. They're practical, sensual, passionate people. Their passion is different than the Aries passion. The passion of a Taurus is more slower moving and sensual, and it's more consistent. You know, Aries, the sign we did earlier, would just kind of flare up, whereas Taurus is going to come out slowly and sensually. Now, on the shadow side, or if you've got a low-functioning Taurus, you can have someone who's stubborn, who's materialistic, who's hedonistic. They are focused way too much on the outside and not on the inside. There's an unmovable nature to a shadow, low-functioning Taurus. They can be possessive, afraid of change. They have a really strong need for security, and so they're afraid to sort of break out from situations they know aren't best for them. So they can overstay bad relationships or bad situations at work, or just life situations, just be in the same career for years that they don't like, but it's the devil you know is safer than the devil you don't know. And they can be a little lazy and a little vain. That's our Venus. Now this is low functioning. Taurus in love. Taurus appreciates beauty, all right? Taurus sun signs, whether it's male or female, whatever their personal idea of beauty is, they will have, it's going to be high on their list of things that will matter to them. They need to be physically attracted to their partner. They are quite lusty and sensual, the sun sign. Once they have gotten to know someone, once they've decided that this is the one for them, they're affectionate, and the way they show their love is through they do enjoy giving their partner gifts, sharing things with them, but also really affection and sex. There's a possessiveness to a Taurus. They're on the axis of possession with a Scorpio as well. So they can at times be a little bit possessive, and they need to know that their partner is theirs. So they can have some issues with security and needing to feel safe and secure. Taurus expectations in love. Taurus types, Taurus sun signs, they're looking for security, and they're looking for a relationship that is grounded in reality. They wouldn't really be stoked about a relationship that was like based on the internet, you know, like a long distance relationship, unless you had a Taurus with a ton of Aquarius in their chart, and that's a whole other story. But for the most part, Taurus, pure Taurus sun sign, they like to have you there in their presence. They want someone to build a life with. They want harmony. They want to enjoy the daily pleasures with their partner. They like good food. They like a nice regular sex life. They like to dance in the kitchen while they're cooking dinner together. They just want simple, authentic, real love. Okay, that's their expectations, and they expect loyalty. So you give that to them, and you have got a happy bull. Now, Taurus's biggest fear, they worry about security. This is why you've got a sun sign that's so focused on making money or proving themselves through their ability to be successful or have control over their ability to create income. That's why it's underneath it is an insecurity, a worry that they will be without. So this includes the partner. They do have a fear of their partner leaving them. And so they need a partner that is consistent, steady, does what they say they're going to do, shows up when they're supposed to, and is reliable. Ultimately, that will put their heart at ease and keep them happy and harmonious. So Capricorn sun sign. So Capricorn, this is December 22nd through January 19th. These are the goats. Now, when you think of Capricorn, I want you to think of an earthy individual. What does that mean? So when you're earthy, that means the earth is something you can see. You touch it, taste it, throw it, make something out of it. That's earth. It's here, practical. It's in the sensory reality that we experience here in this three-dimensional world, this three-dimensional space. Capricorn is like the king of this place. This is a sign ruled by Saturn. Saturn traditionally is Kronos, the god of time. Kronos also is the father who eats his children, because as you know, the mother births us and introduces us to this mortal world. Thanks, Mom. And then that also means she kills us through introducing us to our father, Saturn, Kronos, right? Who is going to eventually eat us. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yum. Okay. So Capricorn types are serious folks, practical folks. Even if you've got a fun Capricorn, there's a quality to them that realizes the realities of life. This is why with business, they're good at creating a plan, working a plan, planning your work, working your plan. Okay, that's Capricorn. They're practical. They're here. They realize the vicissitudes of life, and they're willing to plan accordingly. Now, with love and romance, when you've got a sun sign that has to do with, you know, practicality, it's kind of not that sentimental. It's cold, detached energy. Capricorn is a colder, more detached energy. It is one that is focused on business. It's all business, all right? So you're going to look at the rest of this chart, unless you're also a Capricorn. And remember, your sun sign is how you sort of operate your life, all right? So you could have someone who's quite emotional and sweet and loving, but they're Capricorn sun, but they've got, for example, I've got a client, Capricorn sun, he has a Cancer moon, great businessman, fantastic at, you know, setting it all up and making money and making it work, but his heart is really soft and sweet. He's very tender and loving to the people that are close to him, and so, you know, your sun sign is how you outwardly operate and express your ego. So in a love relationship, Capricorns are the types, because they're earth, they're here to build something. They are not interested in dating just to kind of screw around. You'd have to have a lot of air signs or air energy or Uranian energy on that sun or moon to make this person who's really flighty. For the most part, Capricorn, they're wanting to build something. So in relationship, they're quite traditional. Their ultimate end game is they want a partnership, and they want it with someone who is excellent. They have a high standard. They are looking for, you know, if you look at the birth chart, when you look at the zodiac, how it naturally falls on the wheel, you've got Capricorn at the very top, that 10th house. That's the Capricorn house in Western astrology, in the 10th house. It's different in Vedic. I mean, it's shaped differently, but Anyway, so 10th house there at the top, and this is a cardinal house. This is the house that has to do with how we appear in the world around us. So status is a thing that's important to Capricorns, even if you've got a pretty, like, it depends on their other, obviously things on their other planets, where the other planets are placed, but they'll be interested in status, whether it's nice clothing or a nice home or a job that's important, or they're seen as important, or doing something that's serious work. There's a discernment and a defining quality to Capricorn that they will apply to how they approach life. Your high function Capricorns, you've got someone who is focused, driven, there's an ambition there, there's a loyalty to Capricorn. 10th house is an earth sign. There's a nature where it likes to, it'll be pickier though about the friends that they'll let in many times if you've got someone who's pure Capricorn. Remember, this is pure Capricorn. And it can be within female Capricorn, sometimes you can see like a bitchiness, or like that's not good enough for me kind of a thing, which is great. I love it. Be picky. You know, there's pickiness. There's a pickiness to Capricorn men as well, actually. They have an idea of what they're looking for, and they're not going to waste their time going down roads that are inefficient and impractical. That doesn't make any sense to them. So they desire intimacy as well with a partner, because they're so much of Capricorn is in this sort of serious, sometimes cynical place. A partner who has a sweetness, who is very real and practical and here and grounded, but sweet, really appeals to a Capricorn, especially Capricorn. I mean, it's like goes in both directions, but you know, they're traditional and conservative, and so Capricorn male many times will like a female that is feminine, and Capricorn's quite masculine energy. It's like the general, it's the goat, but I think of it as the general, you know, someone in charge, they've got a mission, they've got a crystallized plan in their head, and they're bringing it from their brain out into the world around us. And so they naturally makes them good leaders. Many times they're good at following rules or being the bureaucracy that creates the rules. And this can even be like a mom, a stay-at-home mom. She would be quite have her idea of how things should be run in the home, and be kind of systematized and organized with the way that she would run her home. That would be Capricorn. They're also solid and grounded. There's a grounded practicality. Again, it's that earthy dutifulness comes with Capricorn as well. So with a low function Capricorn, you've got someone who can be a little picky. There is a discernment there, and there's an understanding of quality, whether it's a quality of a human being, quality of a product, quality of the way a business is being structured and run. They can see when something does not meet their standards of what it should be meeting. Okay, so they're the rule makers many times. They're the ones that have a hard time then when other people are breaking the rules. They can be judgmental of others, and also if you've got a really conservative Capricorn, so we're saying like a pure Capricorn, they can be annoyed with iconoclasts, so with people who kind of go against the grain of what the status quo has suggested you should be doing. They don't like that. They can be cold and a little bit distant, and sometimes place practicality or the system or the mechanics to how you're going to make something happen, the plan, over the emotions of the people that are involved in the plan, or the mechanizations of the organization, or this kind of thing. They can be a little bureaucratic, and you can apply that in a relationship as well. But at the same time, they also show up. They're showing up, so they want you to show up as well. So sometimes you have to follow the plan and the system so that everyone shows up the way they're supposed to, if that makes sense. They can be workaholics. They can sometimes place work over pleasure. They can be, and that can make them be stick in the mud sometimes. They can be a little, like, boring if you had a pure Capricorn. This is me. I have a fire moon, so what do I know? But they can be a little, just serious. They can be serious. And they can also sometimes struggle with emotional expression. Look at the moon. That's very important, especially Capricorn moon, or someone whose moon making aspect to Saturn or is in the 10th house. They will have emotional control issues where they want to control their emotions. When emotions come out, they want to restrict it. They want to put rules on it and keep it in check, put reins on it. That can happen a little bit with Capricorn Sun, but that's more just how to sort of live their life. They'll be structured in the way that they live their life. Capricorn in love. So you got this personality type that has a seriousness to them. And the way they approach things is with a sort of seriousness, like I can get this done. I can make this happen, make this work. And in love, they do the same thing. They in business and in other parts of their life, they're able to get shit done. So in their relationship, they think they should also be able to get shit done, and they should make it work. So sometimes if you have a Capricorn who's in an unrequited love situation, that's going to be really frustrating, because usually they can get things to work the way that they want them to work. So, but when they're in a relationship where everything's good, you've got a partner who, or you are the partner, the Capricorn, who wants foundation, who wants to build something together. They want a serious long-term commitment. They want to know that there's reliability there on both ends. Ultimately, Capricorn in that 10th house is opposite the 4th house, Moon, Cancer, 4th house, which is the home. They would not have purpose without the 4th house. So a Capricorn ultimately needs home. They need their partner. They need to know that all the work they're doing is feeding this place, ultimately, the mother, the home, the family, because that's ultimately where they're going to get their safety and security from. You see, it's like a loop. These two need one another. So if you have someone who is single, who's got strong Capricorn in their chart, or strong 10th house placements in their chart, and they don't have a partner, they don't have a grounded sense of home, you'll have an individual who's all work and perhaps no play, and they focus all their energy on work, and ultimately it's going to lead to a life of probably not feeling totally fulfilled, because their purpose to be seen and to create status will never really truly be witnessed by anyone who is intimately involved with them. So that's a side note. But Capricorns in love, they need to feel like they've got that partnership, they've got that home and that soft place. And they're, as romantic partners, they're dependable and lovable, or loving. You know, they take it seriously. They take their relationship seriously. So they are good partners. They expect loyalty, and they expect fidelity, loyalty, a certain sort of respect. Capricorn men want to take care of the people they love, because that's what they know how to do. So many times they are, it's quite traditional, where they have a wife or a girlfriend or someone that they care for, they financially take care of. Capricorn females, on the flip, many times you'll see them being attracted to men who are powerful, or they themselves will be career women. You got to look at the whole chart, of course, but if you've got a 10th house sun, no matter what the sign, it could be Pisces. This is a female who needs to be doing something ambitious with her career, and may have a hard time sometimes finding home. And it's the same thing with a Capricorn woman. She may look for home in places where she's not truly in love. This can be a placement, Capricorn females, especially if you've got a 10th house Capricorn sun, there's a desire for status, for being important in life. And so they'll do that with the partner sometimes, or through their career, which becomes their partner. They become married to their career. I see that a lot in 10th house sun placements. But also Capricorn in love, they're very affectionate and they're lusty. This is like horny goat, this is a lusty, earthy sign. And as far as Capricorn Venus and Capricorn Mars, these are people who have some staying power to their sexuality. They're very earthy and sensual and in the body, and like kinky, but in a really earthy, like down dirty kind of a way, because it's earth. And they'll be the types too in love where they want to impress their partner. They want to do it right. They're really worried about that. Like if they want to do it the best of, it's Capricorn. They're the best lover you've ever had. So they'll have to prove that to you. Capricorn's biggest secret fear would be they're afraid of failing and as seen as such. So Capricorns are afraid of being seen as big losers, They're not here to be losers. They're here to be successful and to be of high status, however that may play out, depending on, again, Moon and Venus placement and where that sun is placed. Whatever it is that they do, they're going to do it with a certain level of excellence, or at least they'll feel most happy when they're operating from a place of excellence and doing it the right way. Remember, status quo is also important, looking to the past, how things were done in the past, and doing it the same or better, not necessarily changing the way it's been done, but just improving upon the way it's been done. That's Capricorn. And they'll feel, if they're unable to meet that, they'll feel a sense of failure, and that for them is a big fear, to be seen as someone who needs charity, or somebody who is this little person who merits pity. That's a bad place for Capricorn. They don't want to be there. So admire Capricorn, see them for all their strengths, build them up, and you will be well on your road to happiness. Okay. Taurus and Capricorn. All right, two earth signs, so we got that nice, happy commonality between these two. That's simpatico. They're practical, sensible people who want to build a life, whether as a single person, build their life through a job and through getting a place to live. And Tauruses especially really need to have that sort of safe, secure knowing what to expect. They cannot stand waiting to find out. They need to know. And Capricorns are similar. Capricorns are going to be the ones who are going to be sort of crafting the plan and deciding where they want to take things. They like to lead. And as long as you've got a Taurus who's okay with that, Taurus can be a little bossy, but I think ultimately if the Capricorn is leading from an earthy, practical, sort of it makes sense place, the Taurus will be okay with that. Romantically, this is a couple that are both very sensual people. Capricorn is a misunderstood sign in my mind. It is actually quite a sensual, affectionate sign. It is earth, it's slower moving, so they'll have a nice, slow developing relationship, but that will move towards commitment. Long-term interaction between these two will be harmonious. You have two people who are interested in very similar things, which would be building a future together. Specific areas of conflict. Okay. Capricorn can be a little bit of a snot sometimes. I love Capricorn. Men and women, though, they can be a little snobby or a little picky or a little elitist. They can be sort of like they know the best way, father knows best kind of a thing. And the Taurus can be sort of blunt or crude or a little more earthy in the way that they do things, and they just can't be bothered by, what are you telling me that I need to be doing differently, Capricorn? They can't be bothered with Capricorn's nitpicks. So, I mean, it's this source of conflict, but really the Taurus would probably just ignore the Capricorn, I'm imagining. Now, also, the Capricorn is going to be a little more slow to move. The Taurus will be slower to move than the Capricorn. The Taurus is just going to kind of plod along, and the Capricorn is going to be more, it's a cardinal sign, so it wants to start things. So, okay, where is this relationship? Where are we going with this? The Capricorn is going to need some also going to need to know what to expect, but kind of more from this place of planning, okay? Taurus needs to know what to expect just so they can kind of keep things the same, the status quo. They just want to know, is my life going to get rocked around here? Is it going to stay the same? Okay. Between these two would be their natural affection, their physical affection for one another, that they both are earth signs. They come from this practical sensory world. They look at things from a place of the concrete, how can you solve this problem? Instead of talking about ideas, they're actually doing things to fix the problem. So these will, and to me, in a relationship, that means you are focused on creating a relationship that has foundation to it. So it's a committed relationship, getting married, buying a house together, having a family together. These types of things would be indicated for, the typical Capricorn or Taurus Capricorn combination. Okay, others will see this relationship as, a very natural, two peas in the pod kind of a thing. It'll seem like a harmonious relationship, maybe a little bit private, or, the couple that probably kind of keeps themselves unless they have busy moons. So, yeah, it would seem like a good natural pairing to other people from the outside.